So let's identify the class of the following levers. I've got a lot of examples here to do. I tried to make just about every single combination of levers that you might ever see. So let's just go through them all together one by one. And the method I'm going to be using to classify the levers is this acronym FLEE. And it stands for, the letter in the acronym stands for the central component, so either the fulcrum, the load, or the effort. And if the fulcrum is in the center, it's a first class lever. If the if the load is in the center, it's a second class lever. And if the effort is in the center, then it's a third class lever. So let's try this out for all these examples. So the first one here in the center is the load. So that tells us, according to the FLEE acronym, if the load is in the middle, it's going to be a second class lever. And for this one, in the center, we have our fulcrum. This is the load and the effort. So the fulcrum's in the middle, and according to our FLEE acronym, the fulcrum tells us, having the fulcrum in the middle tells us it's going to be a first class lever. So it's going to be a 1. Then with the third one, this is our effort. Our effort in the middle, our fulcrum on the right, and our load on the left. Having the effort in the middle, according to our FLEE acronym, tells us this is going to be a third class lever. So that's the first 3 examples done. From now on, I'm just going to start going through them a little bit faster. So looking at our next one, it's going to be the load in the middle, telling us it's going to be a second class lever. This one we have the fulcrum in the center, so it is a first class lever. Again, we have the fulcrum in the center, again, first class lever. You guys can see how easy this is. All we have to do is look at what this element in the middle is. The component in the middle is the effort, telling us, according to FLEE, it's a third class lever. Looking at the center component, again, it's the effort, so it is a third class lever. Next one, fulcrum, tells us first class lever. Next is, once again, the fulcrum in the middle. This is a first class lever. What's this? So this is the load. The load is in the middle. And according to FLEE, that's a second class lever. And this final one, this is the effort in the middle, telling us this is a third class lever. So we're doing well so far. Now we're going to move on to, it's going to be the same thing, but I've got our levers oriented differently. So let's do these ones that are sideways. So remember, this is the fulcrum. This is the fulcrum. This is the load. This is the effort. And which one's in the middle? Well, it's the load. So this is a second class lever according to FLEE. This is a second class lever. Next, we have the fulcrum. We have the effort, and we have the load. Which one's in the middle? Well, it's the fulcrum. So according to FLEE, that's going to be a first class lever. And then this third one here, center, we have effort, and then we have load, and we have the fulcrum. With the effort in the middle, that tells us that this is a third class lever according to flee. It's a third class lever. And again, I'm going to be doing these next ones going at a little faster pace. Just looking at the center. This is the load. So it is a second class lever. This is fulcrum in the center, telling us it's first class lever. What's in the center of this one? Well, it's the load. So second class lever. This one here has got the load in the middle. Even though they're tight, this is the load in the middle, fulcrum, and the effort. This is loads in the middle. According to flee, this is a first class, or sorry, not the first class, second. This is a second class lever. Here we have the fulcrum in the center, telling us it is a first class lever. And then with the effort, this is the effort load in the center, therefore it is a third class lever. So that's all those examples done. Now let's do these ones that are on an angle. They may look a little bit trickier, but it's going to be the exact same process. So again, we're going to identify these. This is the fulcrum. This one is the effort, and this one is the load. And which one's in the middle? What's the effort? So this is a third class lever. Let's do this one as well. This is the load. This is the fulcrum, and this is the effort. So given that the fulcrum's in the middle, this is going to be a first class lever. Let's look at this one. You got the load in the middle, therefore the load in the middle, therefore it is a second class lever. Once again, load in the middle, second class lever. According to the flee acronym, the load in the middle means it's a second class. Which one's in the middle here? Well, it's going to be this fulcrum. First class lever, because the acronym flee, again, F is the first in this acronym. So when our middle component is the fulcrum, that means it is a first class lever. And here we have the effort in the middle, telling us it is a third class lever. So look in our acronym. When the effort is in the middle, it is the third term in this acronym. So it is a third class lever. In this lever, our load is in the middle, so it's going to be a second class lever. And then finally, this last example, this one we have, again, the load in the middle, so it is a second class lever. Hopefully you were able to follow along with all these. If you have any questions, just leave them down in the comments. But that is all for this video.